House Bill 2868, under Committee Report number 18,
What's up at welcome sa Pochok Lang. Sa channel na ito, mahilig akong sumuri ng mga relo ng mga kilalang personalidad at magbigay sa inyo ng masabot kayang alternatibo para kung sakaling gusto nyo gaya ng kanilang estilo o di kaya forma, maaari nyong gawin yan. Sa video na to, dahil muntik nang makapasok si Kobe PARAS sa NBA, minabuti ko na sumuri ng mga relo ng mga kilala ni Sandro Marcos. Una, Kyline Alcantara. Pangalawa, Kobe PARAS. Pangatlo, Elisse Joson. Pang-apat, Mccoy De Leon. At last but not least, Miro. Bago po tayo magsimula, wrist check po muna. Suot ko ngayon ang Christopher Ward the 12 in 36mm. Medyo matagal na panahon ko na pong naisuot ang relo na ito. A few months, I think. At tingin ko nasa magandang posisyon na ako para magbigay sa inyo ng isang review tungkol sa karanasan ko sa relo na ito. Kung gusto nyo pong mapanood ang review na yan, once it drops in a couple of weeks, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Hindi na po ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. Tara na! Dito sa relo ni Kyline Alcantara, kailangan nating tingnan yung hugis ng case niya, which is rectangular, pero napakanipis niya across from the 3 o'clock to the 9 position. At medyo mahaba siya when it comes to the lug-to-lug size, yung 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock position. Tingnan din natin yung size ng relo relative to the wrist of Kyline Alcantara. Tingnan din natin yung case color nito, which looks to be yellow gold in this picture. At dahil sa mga katangian, tingin ko this is a Cartier Tank American. And in the mini version specifically, napaka-classy talaga ng mga relo ng Cartier, especially for women. It's really an elegant look that I think a lot of women would really sort of fall in love with. And when you look at this watch, it has all of the essential Cartier design elements, the Roman numerals, the dial color, and the cabochon on the crown. This is an essential Cartier watch, and I think it's something that is really suited for a lot of formal occasions, and when you need to, kailangan nyo palitan yung strap, you can dress it down as well, and that makes this watch quite flexible in that way. So ang relo po na ito, ang SRP niya is 588,000 pesos at the time of the recording of this video, and when you check it sa secondary market, wala kayo masyado makita niyan sa Philippines. So I think a good choice would really be to go into a Cartier boutique kung trip nyo ang relo na ito and afford nyo siya. But of course, medyo out of reach ito for a lot of Filipinos out there. So when it comes to the alternative, I thought of the Seiko SWR 106P1. So kaya ako napili ang relo na ito because of the case color and the case shape. In terms of the concession, obviously it's not as elongated as the Cartier Tank American. The finishing is also not going to be at the same level, nor are the materials, which is going to be coated stainless steel in this case. This watch retails for 15,400 pesos sa official Seiko Boutique online store. But if you go personally in stores to stores like at Tokyo sa mga Seiko boutiques, I think you can get this watch for a discount. When it comes to tank or Cartier tank alternatives, laging lumalabas ang Seiko SWR line, and I think it's such a great choice also coming from a brand with a respectable heritage. Dito naman sa relo ni Kobe PARAS, ang kailangan nating tingnan yung case shape, the two-tone bracelet and case, the blue bezel, the shiny blue bezel, mind you. At dahil sa mga katangian yan, tingin ko this is a Rolex Submariner reference 126613 LB. I don't think a lot needs to be said about the Submariner. It's such an iconic watch that, as I always mention on this channel, and it's very important to note, kaya lagi kong binabanggit, it has served as a great platform for Rolex to create a lot of watches that have become popular, especially in recent decades and years. So, ang relo na ito, SRP is 1.008 million pesos. But on the secondary market, I see it sell for up to 1.25 million pesos. And obviously, that's out of reach para sa mga tao na idol si Kobe PARAS. In terms of the alternative, I suggest to go with the Timex Harbor Side. This is also two-tone at talagang yan ang dahilan kung ba't ko napili ang relo na ito. Aside from that, the case shape the dive style. Visually, side by side, I know that you can see they look very similar. And in terms of the concession, the finishing will not be there. The materials as well. This is probably purely stainless steel, albeit coated for the gold toned elements para magmukha siyang gold. And then the quartz movement, whereas dun sa Submariner it's an automatic mechanical movement na in-house made by Rolex. But price-wise kasi malayong malayo yan. This watch retails for 10,295 pesos, but I think it's on sale now in the website of Timex. And I do suggest you get this watch kung trip nyo siya kasi the harbor side style is one of the most sought after watches pagdating sa Timex, and I normally find it out of stock. I was actually surprised to see it in stock. Kaya ko yan sinasuggest as an alternative in this specific case. It's only a fraction of the cost of the Blue Sea na suot ni Kobe PARAS. So, hindi kayo magkakamali sa Timex na to. Dito naman po sa relo ni Elisse Joson, ang kailangan nating tingnan yung two-tone bracelet niya, which is in the Jubilee style. Yung bezel niya, which is color gold, fluted. Yung dial niya na kulay puti. The diamond markers and the size of this watch relative to Elisse Joson's wrist. At dahil sa mga katangin na tingin ko, this is a Rolex Datejust reference 79173 with the white dial and the diamond markers. I normally say this, the Datejust is probably the most recognizable style when it comes to Rolex, especially with the fluted bezel and the Jubilee bracelet. And this specific watch, I think, is also a good entry-level watch when it comes to Rolex vintage models. Kung nagsisimula pa lang kayo sa Rolex, I think this is a style you cannot really go wrong with. On the secondary market, I see it sell for up to 300,000 pesos. But when it comes to the alternative, dahil out of reach pa rin, I thought of the Citizen Lady watch. I'll put the specific reference here. Kaya ko yan napili because of the two-tone case and bracelet and the elegant look overall. In terms of the concession, the materials will not be on the same level. This is probably stainless steel coated with gold coating, probably PVD. It has a quartz movement, but the dial, it also has that elegant look, but because of the mother of pearl dial rather than having gems on the dial per se. So this watch comes with no diamonds at all. But I think it's still pretty classy. I see it sell on the secondary market for 25,000 to 30,000 pesos. And I think that's a pretty good deal in terms of what this watch is trying to accomplish. It has that echo drive movement, which is respected among the wristwatch enthusiast community. And this is coming from a brand in Citizen that is also quite respectable in the industry. So, I think hindi kayo magkakamali sa Citizen na ito. When you're looking for alternatives to the Datejust, you just have to be very conscious na medyo iba yung look niya. But in terms of what it's trying to accomplish and the use cases, I think it's very similar. Dito naman kay David Di Magiba, ang kailangan nating tingnan yung case shape, the black bezel, the black dial, at dahil sa mga katangian yan. Tingin ko this is a Rolex Submariner date reference 126610LN. Very similar to the watch that Kobe PARAS I thought was wearing doon sa relo kanina. But this one in the more plain colorway with the steel and the black. But I think this is more classy. Ang SRP ng relo na ito ay 613,500 pesos. But on the secondary market, I see it sell for up to 900,000 pesos. When it comes to the alternative, I thought of the Alba AS9V37X2. Kaya ako napili ang relo na ito because of the dive style, the bezel and the dial color, which are both black. And this one comes with an extra strap. In terms of the concessions, the finishing and the quartz movement are there, and the bezel, hindi ito ceramic. So those are concessions you need to be aware of. But when it comes to the price kasi, 6,000 pesos ito, and I think when you walk in stores, makakuha pa kayo ng discount. At dahil sa layo ng price na yan, tingin ko magandang choice ang Alba na ito. And at the same time, with that extra strap, you have that much more flexibility in terms of how you want to wear the watch. And when you think about the price difference, well, sinabi ko na quartz is a concession in terms of the price. Still, in terms of practicality, it's a very good choice. It's a pick up and go watch na tingin ko hindi kayo magkakamali kasi Alba is also part of the Seiko family of brands. Sa relo ni Sad Girl Alexa Miro, kailangan nating tingnan dito the seamless transition from the bracelet to the case, kaya nagmumukha siyang bracelet at first glance rather than a watch. Let's look at the black dial and the 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock positions where there are kind of huge markers. The flanks of the case na merong parang diamonds. At dahil sa mga katangin natin ko, this is sa Patek Philippe 24. The Patek Philippe 24 collection of watches, probably not the most sought after line of watches, but this specific watch, yung rectangular case with the bracelet, it's a watch that is normally being worn by celebrities and politicians and wives of politicians alike. And I think it's down to that really classy look, but at the same time, for a Patek Philippe watch, it's relatively affordable at 600,000 pesos. No, I see it sell on the secondary market for up to 600,000 pesos. And I think I've seen this similar watch being worn, I think by Corina Sanchez. No, but still, kahit affordable yan para sa mga personalidad na ito, it's going to be out of reach for the most of us. So in that sense, I thought of the Casio LTP V007T 1B as an alternative to this watch. Kaya ko to napili because of the case shape and the bracelet, the dial color, and the Roman numerals. And in terms of the concessions, the materials will not be on the same level, no gems on the side of the case, and it's not that seamless going from the bracelet to the case. But still, I think looks-wise, this watch does a lot in terms of just getting that look. And price-wise kasi, this one sells for 2,220 pesos sa mga stores. And I think that's very affordable compared to what you would find on the wrists of other politicians or celebrities. So I think this is a good choice. And Casio is known for being reliable. It makes watches that will last a lifetime. And I really respect it kasi ito talagang entry point para sa mga budding watch collectors. And there are a lot of choices when it comes to this brand. That's why I really like this brand and I recommend this watch. Ayun! Nakita tayo ng mga sample ng mga relo ng mga kilala ni Sandro Marcos. At sa lahat ng relo na tiningnan natin sa video nito, pinaka-paborito ko dyan yung Cartier Tank American. Yan ay dahil sa napaka-timeless and classy look ng relo na ito. It has all of the essential Cartier design elements, but it brings something unique to the table with that elongated look. At doon naman tayo sa alternatives. Pinaka-paborito ko naman dyan yung Timex Harbor Side. For that price, looking at how close it looks to the Rolex Blue Sea, tingin ko napakagandang choice ng relo na ito, especially if you don't want to invest that much. And at the same time, it's quite sizable. So, napakalakas ng presence ng relo na yan. At dahil dyan, yun ang pinaka-paborito ko sa mga alternatives. Pero opinion ko lang yan. Kung ibang inyong opinion, kung tingin nyo, merong ibang relo na mas angkop bilang alternative sa mga relo na tinalakay ko sa video nito, let me know in the comment section down below. Kung nagustuhan nyo ang video na ito, please do hit the like button. At kung trip nyo yung ganitong klaseng content, pagsuri sa mga relo ng mga kilalang personalidad, watch reviews, especially with the Christopher Ward The 12 review coming in the next couple of weeks. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Yun lang. Maraming salamat po sa oras ng panonood. Laters, yo!